Just when I thought that I had, oh, hold on. Let me check my email. Okay, I see no new emails from Anchor. All right, we can start. Just when I thought that I had made real headway breaking down the Bilt 2.0 reward structure, the powers that be decided to muddy the waters. This is without question the wildest card launch I've ever seen. So many missteps, lots of vagueness, so many surprises, and still some unknowns. And I can't help but wonder what's actually driving this launch when they're clearly not ready. This is a financial product. There should be zero ambiguity as to how it works. Now sure, it's more complicated than your average reward structure, but that part doesn't scare me. We've got spreadsheets and we can do math. What does surprise me is that by the time you're watching this video, if Bilt were to announce a third option, I don't think anyone will blink an eye. And for the record, all of this could have been avoided if Bilt had watched my Bilt 2.0 unveiling video from a few months ago. I detailed how all these cards should work. Now with that said, I pride myself on being calm. I'm never gonna throw out the baby with the bathwater. If there's value here, I wanna find it. And one of the best ways to do that is to lay it all out on a spreadsheet, take out the emotion, and see what the numbers actually tell us. So just like the last video, we're gonna keep it by the numbers and you can decide what works for you. Let's get into it. For those new to the channel, I'm Richard Debs from RSquared Travel Rewards and I'm an avid traveler. I use credit card points and miles to fly business class around the world while staying in fancy hotels, and then I share my strategies with you so that you too can stay at fancy hotels. Earning Bilt Platinum status has been a major contributor in helping to set up my 2026 travel schedule. But Bilt has got some work to do if they want to keep me in 2027. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you agree or disagree with my analysis of this new housing rewards option. Now before I jump into the spreadsheet, there's one more point I'd like to make. I knew for a fact that Bilt was going to face an uphill battle with this launch. There is no scenario where they could have matched the value and the flexibility we had with the previous card, especially when it came to earning and redeeming points on rent. For anyone just catching up, here are the sticking points that I keep hearing from longtime Bilt users. First, you now need significantly more spend to earn full points on rent. Second, you can no longer use the card's credit line to float rent payments. This was a major detail Bilt originally left out. Third, there's still real vagueness around Bilt Cash. Like, what's the value? What are the monthly redemption caps within the Bilt ecosystem? Fourth, a lack of transparency around the full details before we're expected to sign up. And fifth, the marketing. A lot of the messaging coming from Bilt flies in the face of basic reasoning. At this point, it feels more like marketing lines than actual substance. So given everything they were up against, Bilt needed to stick the landing. If they had executed cleanly and communicated clearly, there would have still been anger, but it would eventually fade. Because at the end of the day, Bilt doesn't owe us value, and we don't owe Bilt our loyalty. So when the community feels talked around instead of talked to, that's when the pitchforks come out. So with that out of the way, let's break down Bilt's latest Hail Mary, dubbed Option 1, or as I'm calling it, Bilt 2.0.1. If we elect this option, we are no longer earning Bilt Cash on our spend. Instead, we're gonna earn a fixed amount of Bilt points tied to housing payments if we meet certain non-housing spend thresholds. So let's get into some visuals. So if you spend between 25% and 50% of your monthly housing spend, you're gonna earn 0.5x points on housing. And if you spend between 50% and 75% of your monthly housing spend, then you're gonna earn 0.75x points on your housing. With me so far? If you spend between 75% and 100% of your monthly housing spend, you're gonna earn the full 1x points on your housing. And if you spend 100% plus, then you're gonna earn 1.25x points on housing. Now note that you're still gonna receive all the Bilt Cash associated with your sign-up bonuses or your annual benefits, provided you meet the requirements, like the $200 annual Bilt Cash perk on the Palladium card. And you do have the option of switching between Bilt 2.0.1, the new plan, and Bilt 2.0.2, the original plan, as desired. Your new election will take effect the following month. Now, let's get into the spreadsheet and maybe a graph. So before we jump into option 1, I want to revisit option 2 and give a really quick recap because I got some feedback from you guys and I want to clarify a couple things, and there's a specific area that I really want to get into. So first of all, I've simplified the chart and I'm not showing percentages of percentages because some people got confused. But the area that I want to touch on is what happens when I spend above the 75 threshold of non-housing spend. So as a recap, let's say that our housing cost is $2,000 and we spend 25% of that on the Palladium card, which has a 2x multiplier. Our points earned from spend at 2x is 1,000 Bilt points. We're also going to earn $20 in Bilt cash at 4%, and that $20 in Bilt cash is going to unlock 667 points from our housing. That brings our total points earned for the month to 1,667 Bilt points. So based on that $500 in spend, our effective multiplier comes out to 3.33x Bilt points. Now let's jump to 75% of non-housing spend. Again, with the same example, our housing cost is $2,000. Our non-housing spend requirement of 75% is $1,500. Our points earned from spend at 2x is 3,000 points. We're going to earn $60 in Bilt cash, and we're going to redeem the $60 for the full 2,000 points from housing. That brings our total points earned for the month to 5,000 Bilt points, and our effective multiplier is still constant at 3.33x Bilt points. So 75% and below will consistently earn 3.33x Bilt points on the Bilt Palladium card. And if we switch to the Bilt Blue card, you can see that our effective multiplier for 75% and below is consistently 2.33x Bilt points. This makes the free Bilt Blue card a solid catch-all card for anyone who's paying their rent or mortgage through Bilt. So now let's see what happens when we spend above the 75% of non-housing spend. Let's jump to 100%. Sticking with our same example of $2,000 a month in housing spend, if we put $2,000 in non-housing spend, the points earned from spend at 2x is 4,000 Bilt points. We're going to earn $80 in Bilt cash, and that $80 is going to unlock 2,000 points from housing. So normally here, $60 in Bilt cash would unlock 2,000 points from housing, but in this example, $80 of Bilt cash is unlocking 2,000 points of housing. That's because you can't unlock more points of housing than you have in actual housing cost. Because remember, the maximum is 1x. So that means that our total points earned for the month is 6,000 Bilt points. And that brings our effective multiplier down to 3x. So note that we're spending more in non-housing spend, and yet our multiplier has gone down from 3.33x to 3x. And this is because we can't earn any more points associated from housing. And if you're considering the Bilt Blue card, in this same example, your multiplier would drop from 2.33x to 2x Bilt points. So just so you know, I don't think most people are gonna have this problem of spending 100% on your cards and having your effective multiplier drop. But I just want to call it out in case you wanted to head to Vegas with your Palladium card and go nuts and be the baller that you know you are. All right, so let's jump to Bilt 2.0.1, the new option. So first, let me explain the layout of this chart. The first column is our housing costs, so you can find your use case in this chart. The second column represents the percentage of non-housing spend that you're going to put on the card. Third column is how many points you earn from spend. The fourth column represents the maximum multiplier that you can earn based on your spend. And then we have our total points and effective multiplier. So let's first pull up the chart as a reminder showing that if we spend between 25% and less than 50% of our monthly housing cost, we're going to earn 0.5x points on our housing. Between 50% and less than 75%, we're earning 0.75x points on our housing. Between 75% and less than 100%, we're going to earn 1x points on housing. And anything 100% or above, we're earning 1.25x points on our housing. So let's start with our first tier at 25% of our housing cost. If our rent is $2,000 a month and we're only spending 25% of that in non-housing spend, that's $500 that we're charging to the card. We're going to earn 1,000 Bilt points from our spend at 2x with the Palladium card, and the housing points that we earn at 0.5x is 1,000 Bilt points. So that brings our total points earned for the month to 2,000 Bilt points, making the effective multiplier 4x. Let me stop here for a second. Note that the effective multiplier that I'm going to run through for all the examples is driven from the non-housing spend. So guys, you're spending $500 in non-housing spend and you're earning a total of 2,000 points. That's how the effective multiplier comes out to 4x. Let's quickly touch on 50 with our same example of $2,000 a month in housing spend. We're gonna put $1,000 in non-housing spend on the card. We're gonna earn 2,000 points at 2x. We're gonna earn 1,500 points at 0.75x because now we're in a new tier, bringing our total points earned to 3,500 points. And now our effective multiplier is 3.5x. So now let's jump to 75%, which represents the next tier. At $2,000 a month in housing costs, we're gonna put 75% of that in non-housing spend, which is $1,500 a month. We're gonna earn 3,000 Bilt points at 2x, and we're gonna earn 2,000 Bilt points as housing points. That brings our total points to 5,000 a month, and our effective multiplier is 3.33x. Now, do you notice that the 3.33x, in this case at 75% of our housing cost, is the same effective multiplier we had in option 2? Let's keep going. If we look at 100% of our housing costs in our example, our housing cost is $2,000 a month. We're gonna put $2,000 in non-housing spend. We're gonna earn 4,000 points at 2x, and then we're gonna earn at 1.25x, 2,500 Bilt points. That brings our total points earned to 6,500 points, and that brings our effective multiplier down to 3.25x. So I've just run through the examples of the 4 different tiers, the beginning of each tier, and I hope you've noticed that the effective multiplier fell from 4x to 3.5x to 3.33x to 3.25x. So I've earned more points, but my effective multiplier has fallen the more I've engaged. Now I want to zoom into the first tier of spending between 25% but less than 50% of our monthly housing cost. So remember, when we spend 25% of our monthly housing cost, the effective multiplier comes out to 4x. And when we spend 50% of our monthly housing cost, the effective multiplier drops to 3.5x. Let's look at what happens when we spend 35% of our monthly housing cost. The effective multiplier drops to 3.43x. So guys, there's a lot of numbers in the spreadsheet. If you find an error, let me know, because math is clearly subjective. Kidding. So now let's see what happens when we put 49% of our monthly housing costs on the Bilt Palladium card. Our effective multiplier drops to 3.02x. So I'm still in the same tier as the 25% spend. And the more spend I put within that tier, my effective multiplier has dropped from 4x to 3.02x. But if I increase my spend just by 1 more percent, my effective multiplier jumps back up to 3.5x. So we see this phenomenon in each of the tiers. The beginning of the tier gives you the highest effective multiplier of that tier, and it steadily decreases the more you spend within that tier until you level up to the next tier. So that means active card management if you're gonna go with option 1. So if earning the highest effective multiplier matters to you, and you're not confident that you can hit tier 2, for example, the ideal optimization for you is being at the beginning of tier 1. As long as you're sure you can't make it to tier 2. Now, if you just want points, it really doesn't matter, because the more you spend, the more points you get, but it's not as effective from an optimization standpoint. So I recommend that you be mindful of your multipliers and know when to switch to another card system entirely, which would offer you a better multiplier for your spend. So what have we learned? With option 1, the more you spend, the lower your effective multiplier becomes. If you get stuck between tiers, that multiplier erodes quickly until you level up to the next tier. So this means that optimizing option 1 requires active card management, something most card holders aren't willing to do consistently. With option 2, we see that we consistently earn a multiplier of 3.33x with the Palladium, 2.33x with the blue card, up until our 75% housing marker, and at that point, the returns begin to fall. So my recommendation to Bilt for option 1, if you want to incentivize higher spend and engagement, don't punish card holders for spending more. At a minimum, card multipliers should remain constant as users move up the spend ladder and not erode. And for option 2, the original, on the surface, it offers better optimization with less ongoing management. even though option 1 is simpler to read and understand. The key advantages with option 2 are that housing points are prorated using Bilt Cash, you're never caught between tiers, and as long as you stay below the 75% marker, your effective multiplier on the Palladium remains a clean 3.33x. And with the blue card, it remains a consistent 2.33x. If Bilt rolls out in option 3, I'll be here explaining it all to you because Bilt is part of my setup. So, at the end of the day, if your goal is to earn points on housing, Bilt 2.0 still presents a solid opportunity. Just be intentional. Choose the card that actually fits your spend behavior. Don't overspend just to chase housing points. And remember, the strongest setups are always diversified, not all in on a single card or issuer. As an example, I'm currently running City, Atmos, and Bilt as my main setup for amassing points outside of new sign-up bonuses. I break this all down in my 2026 credit card strategy video, which you can watch here. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if this helped you see things more clearly with Bilt 2.0 earning points on housing, please like, share, and consider becoming a channel member for just $1 to help give this channel some visibility. As always, take care and be good to each other.